Sukuna, Jugo, Gojo, Mahito, Megumi. These are all characters that have domain expansions. And I think that Yuji might be one of the characters that not have a domain expansion. But I do believe that he'll have something else instead that can help him counter that. Yarg, ladies and gentlemen, I be the pirate deity, and you wanna know what's a pirate's favorite restaurant? It's not Artemis, it's Long John Silver's. Before we start the video, I'd like to thank you guys for making my Tabaka video, giving it almost 100 views within only the first day of it. It's only been a day, and it's close to getting 100 views, and I appreciate and love you guys so much for it. I'm glad that you guys like these type of video styles, which I will plan on doing more in the future. So hope you guys enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, why don't you go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. Okay, now let's get started onto the video. Right, before I say anything, I would like to let you know that this is going to be spoiled. If you're not caught up on the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, I suggest you read the manga and then come back to this video. But if you do not care about spoilers, then sit down, relax, and let's get started. Itadori's last fight was against Haguruma, and that was in chapter 167, and we're currently at 173. That was the last time we have seen him fight, and I think that's going to remain that way for a while because they're going to be focused on other characters. Now, it's unlikely to happen that in his next fight, whoever he goes up against, Itadori is going to come up with his own domain expansion. I'm not saying it's not possible for him to do so, but I feel like it's not really it would really suit his character for him to have a domain expansion. I don't know what, I mean, even if he were to have one, I'll be excited to see, but I don't think that's going to be the case. At most, I think he's going to have is a simple domain. And for those who don't know what a simple domain is, it's basically a counter to domain expansions. It is a domain that is for the weak. And there's a difference between a simple domain and a domain expansion. A domain expansion is an attack or a barrier kind of that basically gives a guaranteed hit to whoever is inside of that domain expansion. Whereas a simple domain is an anti-dome that creates a small barrier around the user to protect itself from domain expansions. A good example of a simple domain would be Kasumi Miwa, with her simple domain is creating a barrier beneath her feet that span between and 2.21 meter radius, and anyone that steps into a domain will be like cut by her. Of course, we know that it's not a guaranteed hit because we've seen Itadori dodge her with very quick speed. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Itadori would have come up with some kind of simple domain relative to Miwa's. I feel like it's possible for him to do something like that because it's not a domain or a simple domain that's like, oh, only a certain like clan or family can do that jutsu or that simple domain. It looks like something that's relatively that anyone could do. So I'm pretty sure it's possible for Yuji to do something like that. But I feel like he has something unique of his own. First, let's dive in a little bit more deep into Yuji's fighting style. For his fighting style, we see that he likes to use his hands and his kicks a lot, and he's also very acrobatic, so we know that much. That's the only thing that we know about him, really, and it does seem like he likes to prefer to fight with his hands. He doesn't like to use weapons or anything like that. We also know that he can use Black Flash up to 4 times a day, and he seems to be somewhat of a heavy hitter because he takes a lot of hits throughout the whole anime and manga. So with that information given to us, let's try to dissect and predict what his simple domain could be or what new technique he will come up with. Prediction number 1, he's gonna have a kick attack. Now, I know when you hear that, it seems kind of lame, kind of basic, but this is Itadori Yuji we're talking about. I feel like he might come up with something like that with a technique where it involves his legs. We haven't seen him use like divergent kick or Black Flash with his leg, only with his hands, so it's not completely too out of like pocket or crazy to assume that he won't have an attack where he uses his legs. This is something that we've seen in My Hero where Deku was trying to come up with a special technique or technique or style, then all the time he just realized, oh, he can use his legs. That could be the same thing with Itadori Yuji, where something so simple but yet it can be executed in a cool manner, so to speak. So I feel like that is the first technique that Itadori would probably have. Prediction number 2, he's gonna have an air punch. Now, for those who don't know what I mean by air punch, I mean that way he punches the air and then it's like Like, let's say he's the distance between him and the opponent, he punches the air, and then the punch is so strong that the punch like hits him, even though the distance is like grasped. So basically, like compressed air. And I might never speak like that. And the reason why I say it is because, again, Itadori, he's fast, he's strong, and he's very much like hand-to-hand combat. He uses his hands a lot, so I can imagine him like developing a technique where he like does a compressed air punched, whether just a divergent fist one, or it'd be cool enough he just like combine divergent fist and black flash to create a compressed air punch, which I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it is, but it'll be really cool to see. Prediction number 3, armor/power gloves. Now again, this ties back to Itadori being very strong and having high endurance. So I feel like for him to like have a simple domain or a technique to where he could like cover his body in cursed energy, or he could just focus more cursed energy around his fist. Kind of like how he does with divergent fist, but you know, add like some more buffs to it. Prediction number 4, he's gonna have a counter simple domain. Now again, this ties back to Miwa's like between like in 2.21 meter radius, anyone that steps into her simple domain, she will like do a crazy fast slash. Itadori will have the same thing, except it's a counter. So let's say like it's a 2 meter range or like 1 meter range, somebody gets close to him, bam, he does a fucking crazy ass like fast counter that does a lot of damage. But of course, you know, I don't think it will be like that simple like that. Pretty sure it'll be like he'll like have to take the damage for it to activate, or he might take damage just to make sure that they're right there. Prediction number 5, the last one, and probably my most favorite one, is damage absorption. Throughout the whole JJK series, we haven't seen a character that can absorb an attack and deliver it right back. Now, I feel like it would suit more for Itadori to be the one to have that kind of ability or a simple domain attack. Again, this all ties back to him just having like crazy high endurance, and I feel like this is a technique that's something that's possible for him to do, and it's something I would really like to see. And the way that he could be set up is one of 2 ways. One, he has to attack after a certain amount of time, or the buff will just nullify or not be available, and he'll take twice the damage. Or 2, the damage can stockpile after a certain amount of like hits or attacks. I'm not really sure exactly, but he can stockpile as much as he wants up until a certain point to unleash a devastating punch or kick. Now that'll be the end of the video, ladies and mateys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that notification bell and subscribe button so that way you don't miss another video. And in the comment section below, let me know what is an attack or technique or anything sort of that you would like to see, or you think Yuji might be able to come up with himself, whether it's something completely on his own or something that he saw somebody else do and is just making a copy of it but in his own way. This is your captain, thy pirate deity, signing off. Yeah.